Today I'm going to talk about the game of Manchester United against Galatasaray, which was there on Wednesday night, where it was a must-win for Manchester United to win so that they can open up their chances of qualifying out of their group. Manchester United actually went in that game when they had only 3 points. I mean 3 points out of 5 games. 3 points. And it was a must-win for them to win against Galatasaray for them to open up their chances. And surprisingly, by the Manchester United, if you remember very well, most of you must have watched this game. They really started so well. Even at one moment, even they had a 2-0 lead, 2-0. And somehow, somewhere, things started crumbling. Hakim Ziyech got a free kick. I'm sure I don't need to go even too much of the details when coming to that game. The only thing I'm going to actually talk about today is some of the mistakes, goalkeeping mistakes, Andre Onana managed to make. Andre Onana made some of the goalkeeping mistakes. And a lot of people have come out. Some people are saying it's done. United should look for another goalkeeper. Even some people are speaking a lot of bad words about Andre Onana. But the question is, this guy was actually brilliant last season in Inter Milan. He was so brilliant. But we see from the time he actually managed to make a move from Inter Milan to Manchester United, things somehow, somewhere, they're not really working so well. And Erik ten Hag is not the first time he has worked with Andre Onana, if we remember very well. Andre Onana was part of the Ajax team, which performed so well sometime back in the Champions League, that young team. But since Onana has come to England, things are not working so well. But one thing we need to know, that it's not easy sometimes when you move from another league or you move from another team and you come to a big team like Manchester United. I'm not saying Inter Milan is not a big team, but we all know when you come to England, especially in one of these top teams, it comes with a lot of pressure. Media attention is too much. It can be really too much, and sometimes it can overwhelm somebody, especially when he has just come into a new team. Many people, they are really crucifying Andre Onana. But let us not forget, this guy, yes, he has done a lot of mistakes, especially at the beginning. But somehow, somewhere, he had stabilized. And in the Premier League, if you look at most of the games, actually, this guy has if I'm not mistaken, he has the biggest numbers of clean sheets, combined number of clean sheets this season. I don't think there's any goalkeeper since this season started who has quite a big number of clean sheets compared to Andre Onana. Because this guy actually had stabilized in Premier League and actually was actually making some good saves, if I remember very well. But most of the United fans, they are forgetting that yes, he was brought to make sure that he maintains that goalkeeping department in order to replace David De Gea. But let us not forget, David De Gea also made a lot of mistakes when he had just come to United. A lot. And most people started writing him off at the beginning of his tenure at United when he had just come at Manchester United from Atletico Madrid. Even if I'm not mistaken, even there was a time, that game where United lost 6-1 at Old Trafford. Yeah, 6 goals to 1 at Old Trafford under the charge of Sir Alex Ferguson. There are some goals even where David De Gea was criticized so much, like those 2 long-range shots from Edin Dzeko, if I'm not mistaken. And most people were like, this guy should go, this guy is shit, he will not handle Premier League. Later on, actually, David De Gea managed to stabilize. And actually, up to now, there's no Manchester United fan, you can ask and he tells you David De Gea was a terrible goalkeeper at United. In fact, he's one of the legends at United. But somehow, somewhere, people are forgetting that even the great goalkeepers like David De Gea, they didn't start so well at United. They didn't. But they are forgetting the fact that everyone needs time. Every player needs time. Andre Onana has just come at United. This guy really we need to give him some time. In Premier League, things have started working out. In fact, if you look at most of the games where United has played against Everton, Most against Burnley, you find most of the games actually United has played so badly, but somehow, somewhere, Andre Onana has been performing so well in those games. He has been performing so well in those games because when you look at the last 6 matches, if I'm not mistaken, Manchester United has only lost one game, like one, and most of those games they're actually clean sheets. Clean sheets. When you look at the game of Luton, Everton, Burnley, yeah, Manchester United has been performing somehow, they have been performing well. And people are forgetting that every person needs time. Most of the players, sometimes they start slow, but later on, because of the too much pressure which comes with coming to play for Manchester United, it's not the same pressure. It's not the same pressure this guy was experiencing while in Italy. We know in England, there's a lot of media, and even to make matters worse, at the end of the day, this guy, sometimes he comes out on the post-match press conferences, he acknowledges that he has made mistakes, meaning, thinking maybe it will calm down the pressure and some. What I like about Onana, he always acknowledges his mistakes. But let us give this guy some time. Me, I'm a football fan, but I really feel so sad for this guy. Somehow I feel so sad for Onana, for real. Yeah, I know he was bought expensively, but truth to be told, we should give this guy time. Every football lover all over the world knows some players, if you have watched football for some time, some players, they take time to click. And coming to a big football club like Manchester United, there's a lot of pressure. A lot. We have seen players who start badly, but later on. One of the examples I gave you, David Hare. He started badly at United. Even if I'm not mistaken, even that game where United shipped 6 goals, it conceded 6 goals at Old Trafford. But somehow, somewhere, some fans were already saying this guy cannot handle what and what. He's not a good shot stopper and everything. And from that time, when this guy actually managed to stabilize, the rest is history. So Andre Onana should be given time. I know most United fans, they really attribute the dropping of points against Galatasaray to the poor goalkeeping errors which were made, which is true. Even some of them are saying Onana is the sole reason why they are getting out of the Champions League this season, which somehow I don't really think is true. Because when you look at United, since this Champions League started, their problems, they just can't stop, especially in the Champions League. Rasmus Højlund, this striker they bought, actually the guy has been performing so well in the Champions League. This guy has performed so well in the Champions League. He's scoring goals. If I'm not mistaken, he's one of the top 2, I think like top 2 or top 3 strikers right now in terms of number of goals this season in the Champions League. Yeah, he has been scoring, but they cannot blame Onana for their poor performance in the Champions League this season. No. When you look at a game of Bayern Munich, the first game, yes, anybody can say Bayern Munich is a stronger team. It was too early for United to play against Bayern Munich, and maybe everyone can easily conclude that Bayern was a much better team. Yes, but actually they managed to put up a performance. Most people actually thought United was going to concede like 4 goals to 0, 5 goals to 0. But United actually managed to put up a fight. Because if we remember very well, United actually lost by 4 goals to 3. Yeah. But from that game, there's always something that has to go wrong in every game for Manchester United. When you look at the second game, United played against Copenhagen. It was against Copenhagen at Old Trafford. United really struggled to break Copenhagen's defense. They really struggled. Yet every person would think United would easily walk over Copenhagen at Old Trafford. But it was a 1-0 narrow win. And we know all the drama which happened in that game. They scored late. Scott McTominay ended up fouling some Copenhagen guy in the box. They had to give a penalty after VAR review. They had to give a penalty. But let us not forget, the same Andre Onana who is being crucified is the same guy actually who saved United from not dropping the 2 points. is the same guy, I repeat, is the same guy who saved the United fans from not dropping 2 points at Old Trafford. With that penalty save in the dying minutes. But we all know United was going to lose points in that game if it wasn't that heroic save from Andre Onana. But now they are blaming every points they have lost in the Champions League. It's like they are trying to blame the goalkeeper. Let us leave the game of Copenhagen. The game against Galatasaray at the same pitch at Old Trafford. What happened? United started so well. Somehow, Galatasaray managed to find equalizer. Actually, whenever United was scoring, these guys would actually equalize. Most of you must have watched this game. Sometimes I don't need to go into details of these things. But when you look at that game very well, there was a lot of defensive errors. I don't remember any goal United conceded which wasn't justified against Galatasaray, because all the blame went to the defensive department. Yes, the defensive department also, you can, part of it is one of the players who play in the defensive department. We all know the goalkeeper is also involved. Yes, but when you look at that game, United players and the whole team was really poor on that day. They were really, really poor. You cannot just blame Andre Onana. Yes, he might be struggling and everything, but the whole team was really poor in that day. That day, the whole team was really poor. To make even matters worse, the time when Galatasaray actually broke through United's defense, that Casemiro ended up getting a red card. But trust me, that was a goal-scoring opportunity. Last man, and indeed that red card, no Manchester United fan would say that penalty wasn't justified and that red card wasn't fair, because that was a red card. United went one man down, they remained 10 players on the pitch, and they managed to lose that game against Galatasaray. That was another third game, I would say, in that group. But you cannot solely blame Onana. I've been watching a lot of pundits, what people are making noise in England. You know, Andre Onana is the reason why we are getting out of this Champions League. Okay? Look, the second game, the fourth game actually, second leg, when they played the same team, when they played Copenhagen in Denmark. What happened? United started so well. They started so well. All of a sudden, Marcus Rashford, he gets a red card. And that's how everything crumbled for this team. But everyone is blaming Andre Onana. Andre Onana is the reason why the team is performing. Is going to drop out of the Champions League. But this is a sequence. There's always something that has to go wrong for Manchester United in every game they have played in the Champions League. But I don't think everything has been solely onto Andre Onana. I feel sorry for that guy. But let us accept United as a whole team has been so poor, and they don't deserve to get out of that group. They don't deserve. But let us be fair. We need to give this guy, as football lovers, even Manchester United fans, they need to give this guy time. Me, I'm very sure things are starting to work out for Onana, especially in the Premier League. Issues have been made. The only problem, where actually most of the errors right now have been majorly coming when it comes to the Champions League. And we all know the whole team of Manchester United has been so poor in this Champions League. Either someone has to get a red card, because you can't get 2 red cards in 2 games of the Champions League out of the 5 games so far you have played in the Champions League. 2 games, 2 red cards, yet you have only played 5 games in the Champions League. I need to make some research and I see if there's any club which has got more red cards in the Champions League group stages this season than Manchester United. I don't think there's any club which has gotten more red cards than Manchester United in the group stages of this Champions League. So let us agree, Manchester United has been so poor. And maybe they are not prepared for Champions League this season. But otherwise, that's all I have to say. But I really think Andre Onana must be given a chance, because a lot of people are coming out to roast this guy. But United has been very terrible. Very, very terrible. To make even matters worse, the injuries have been so many. They had a lot of injuries. But somehow they have been grilling results, despite the fact that they have been playing so badly, both in the domestic league, in Premier League. But somehow in Premier League, they play so badly, but they get results. Despite of how terrible this Manchester United team has been, somehow they have been grilling results out to find they are winning 1-0. You know, goals have been so hard for them to get, especially in the Premier League. Goals have been so hard. They have been winning mostly by 1-0. But in the Champions League, they actually score goals, but their defense is so terrible. In fact, when it comes to Champions League, United's defense has been so exposed, like really, really exposed. I really don't have much to say when it comes to the issues concerning Manchester United, because these guys have literally bought players, like they have bought players. But just how somehow, somewhere, things always don't work out. They brought in some defenders, but injuries have been also not been fair to them. Like, injuries have really, really not been fair to them. Every team has injuries, but there's a time where really Manchester United had a lot of injuries. But in Premier League, they have been getting results there and there. The only challenge they have been getting is like they are not ready for Europe. Europe, it seems like it came, European tournament, especially the Champions League, it seems it came so soon for Manchester United. And maybe they can try their luck in Europa. I'm not speaking badly, but I feel like Manchester United, maybe they need to go and try their luck in Europa League. On condition that they also qualify for Europa League, because right now their position, when you look at their group, really does not do any justice for these guys.